Record the cloud. Okay, well, good morning, guys. And it's pretty amazing to look at a calendar and think our July jumpstart started. This is our third and last session of a Wednesday morning. So next week on Tuesday night, we have a guest event and an image workshop. So the guest speaker we have coming in is highly recommended by a lot of nationals, and I've heard of a lot of directors that have plugged into her. I don't know, some of you may recall probably in the 90s when people used to do the color draping. Are you cool or warm, and what season are you? And all of our Mary Kay colors were in cool and warm. And so then we went to this, it doesn't matter, which wasn't really a good trend, because then you saw women wearing like red outfits and pale pink lipstick and just stuff that did not really look the best on them. Anything goes. And so now I'm hearing people come back and do this color draping and season stuff. And I'm like, there's really nothing new under the sun in Mary Kay. Everything circles back around. Well, this is the woman who has been doing a lot of color draping training in Mary Kay. She happens to be a Mary Kay consultant. We'll hear her eye story. I think her husband's a pastor. She lives somewhere, Arkansas, Alabama-ish. But I'm going to have her come in as an image consultant, the people who earn the drawing. So you invite guests, and whichever guest wins, consultant wins. And you'll have a personalized hour-long session with her on Zoom. And she will foundation match you. She will, go through body shape choices, the color draping. The people I've heard go, I never would have thought of that foundation color, and it's the best one. Or I didn't know that those were my best colors to wear. So that will be something, because that's an individualized thing. But on Tuesday, she's not only going to talk about image with our Mary Kay uniforms, with our beauty coat, red jacket, director suit. I'm going to ask her for tips, like when you're out in public, what's on trend, and what are inexpensive ways that you can look on trend, so people are looking at you when you share you're with Mary Kay and they're like, oh yeah, you're with Mary Kay, instead of like, oh really? Like, have you guys ever been with someone and you find out they're a hairdresser and their hair is just a flat out mess, and you're just like, yee, okay, I won't be going to her. That's scary. And we were always taught, like, present yourself like you would, like even going up to your mailbox, that, Mary Kay could meet you there and you'd be proud to see her. And our society has gotten so casual, like they think pajamas are okay to wear on an airplane. And these are grown women, like 40 and 50-year-old women that are wearing pajamas on airplanes. Like, it's not okay. I mean, people used to dress up. They'd wear hats. They'd dress up for church. They'd present themselves well, right? And so this is an image workshop. Your guest will really enjoy it. It's an easy thing to invite guests to if they're customers. This is added value, because whoever they're buying their skincare and cosmetics from, whether it's Ulta, if it's Target, Walla Foundation, those women are not inviting them to come to an image presentation that they can plug into at the convenience, of wherever they're at with their Zoom. Make sure people know how to use Zoom. That's in this Zoom room. But your customers, it's added value. But for potential customers, it's also added value. It's easy to invite them to this. Miranda and myself, obviously, there's going to be Mary Kay conversation. There's going to be conversation about the opportunity. What has this brought into her life? What has it brought into my life? So it's kind of like a way for them to have a peek into pink of how we add value to women, so they can see our culture. Because then you can easily do a follow-up call and say, what did you enjoy most? If you ever started a Mary Kay business, what would the reason be? What would hold you back from getting a consultant number now to give it a shot? Obviously, that's next Tuesday. So that means we have one more day in the month. Yeah. So you don't want to save all your recruiting efforts until next Tuesday. That's a bad plan. That's not a win-win strategy. And so let's recap what, actually, I'm going to put the mute on. so that let's recap what we have focused on in the month of July for our July Jumpstart. Because even if you didn't get jump started, even if you feel like right now you haven't jump started yet, today would be a great day to jumpstart. Today would be the day that you jumpstart. You don't sit there and go, oh, I didn't do anything the last 3 weeks. And, I had 4th of July and no. When we get off here, we're going to evaluate all of us individually, myself included, how to jumpstart this 8 days. Because 8 days in Mary Kay is a long time. It's a long time. 2 work weeks for humans that have jobs that are employees is 10 days. This is only 2 days shy of that, of a 2-week work week. And so let's look at what we were goaling, training towards in July. And then you figure out, you don't evaluate from, okay, well, if I only have, 8 days, a quarter of the month, and I only do a quarter of it. That's not Mary Kay math. You figure out, what can I push towards? Like, the numbers don't change. You change how you use your time. Because the fact of the matter is, to grow in this business, you always have to use your time differently to get different results. That never changes. Myself, to grow and lead an inner circle area, my time has to be used very differently for us to double. We're halfway to inner circle now. To get all the way to inner circle, I have to use my time differently. How are you going to use your time differently and in a way that you haven't before? Because you want to go somewhere you've never gone. So we said the railroad track, the training track versus trying. Not, I'm going to try. Okay, I'm going to train through this push. And I talk about the push, and those of you, as women, whether you've had a human come out of your body or not, you know what the childbirth process is about. Like, you have to get that human out of your body for you to live and for that human to live. That's at the end of all Mary Kay finish lines, what we experience. Getting the push to get that phase of the dream, to get the dream started or to get the dream finished, always requires a push. And I want you to experience it, because there's something about you training at a level you've never trained before for 8 days and waking up August 1st in momentum. We talked about, are you going to wake up August 1st as a first-time red jacket with 3 active team members? Are you going to wake up with 8 so you can go into DIQ? In the company, between now and the end of November, which means you debut December 1st, they're giving you some significant extra gifts, like a director's jacket, maybe even leadership conference. Like, that's the company, and it's the end of November to finish, because leadership is early in San Antonio. And so all the qualifications for leadership recognition will be the end of November. You can have 8 to go in August, so August, September, October, and you give yourself that extra wiggle room month. I probably wouldn't put yourself in a situation that, well, I'm going to pace myself out and wait till you get to the very end, because again, that's not a win-win strategy. So is it 3, 5 is in between there? If you already have 3 and you work for 8 and you get 5, team leader, you increase your commission opportunities, and you're that much closer to get it done. Like, you could, by seminar, have the other 3 so that officially September 1st, you go into DIQ. So we talked about where you're going to be as far as your team members. We also talked about your faces. Was it a perfect start, power start, because you're brand new, or you're circling back around to that? Was it team 30, 50, or 100? And you guys, there's people that do 100 faces in a day. They'll do a power day and they will line up at their house. They will have, 10, 1, 4, 8. You could do it virtually the same way, QVC style with products, some Zoom, some in person, or all one or the other. Again, you probably don't want to wait till the 30th to do that. You want to put yourself in a win-win. But the point is that nothing's impossible. You know, I've known people that with their full-time jobs, they do 2 super Saturdays a month, and that's where they do their 100 faces, especially directors, because then that's their business. And then rest of the week, they're working, equipping their new consultants with then getting new leads into their business, booking appointments, and doing the 4-point recruiting plan, following up and interviewing. I mean, that I've heard that many times. So maybe in this 8 days, you figure out a new cycle for yourself. You're training differently. You're chopping wood, carrying water, but it's at a different pace, right? With a different belief. So it's the faces. It's where you're going to be on the 3, 5, 8. That determines how many practice interviews, you know, career chats, how many people you're exposing to the opportunity. And then there's always wholesale. That's the 3-leg chair, right? That gives you stability. You're sharing the product, and we know we're focusing on skincare customers, 100 skincare customers. You have product to back it up. And so 700 is the minimum for that amazing pink purse that reminds me I'm at Alden's. I'm getting that back from her today because it's so cute. There's many times she's over there grinning. She has it hidden on me. There's this already in, I'm sure, but it's so cute. Like that is something that I was looking in a department store looking for seminar stuff, and they have all these puffy bags. Like it's a Euro look. It's very popular right now, super on trend. So I'm grabbing that back. Come to think of it, I'm writing pink purse down on my piece of paper. So it's 700 for that, or for your to be on target for Princess Court. Maybe you're going to do 833 wholesale. Or what about 1667 wholesale? That puts you on target officially for Queen's Court of Sales. 2 qualified recruits puts you 2 Great Start qualified. So that means that their agreement in 600, it can be cumulative, is in by the end of this month. Great Start qualified for July. Obviously, agreement this month could do the 600 next month. You have 4 months to be Great Start qualified to count towards a B. But instead of playing catch up, we are going to work to be officially on target. So we're not depending on catch up. So 2 Great Start qualifieds and 1666 personal wholesale, that puts you officially on target for quota sales, quota sharing. So those are the things that you want to look at doing in this next 8 days. Amy, I would love you to unmute. I want you to share what you shared with me in a voice message about the equipping that Mary Kay has given you that you just found to be very helpful in life. Because the reason that you learned that is because you were pushing to get into your red jacket. You were training versus trying. So you were asked to share at an event, and you had a lot of life going on, like a big amount of life go on that day. And you had a choice. Am I going to not participate and share? I can't do anything right in this hour, in this situation. Or am I going to sit and worry and be anxious about it instead of sharing? And I mean, you learned this lesson because you were pushing and playing by the rules of the game and training versus trying. So will you share with them what that lesson is? And then I'd like to have another consultant, if you, from listening to the power team, have something that you applied or adjusted to that has, made a difference in your training. I would like to hear that. So Amy, will you share just, what you shared with me on Voxer about the Mary Kay lesson that helped you in life this past week?
Sure. So the night that I was scheduled to share for the Winning Wednesday, a few hours before that was going to start, I got word that my 2 cousins, my cousin and her husband, they were they were doing bike week in Maine, and they got in a motorcycle accident, very serious. We didn't know if either one of them was alive, and we were waiting to get more information. We knew it was a really bad accident, and that they were being rushed off to the hospital, and that's all we knew. So we're waiting to find out, like, are they still alive? Are they gonna, what's gonna happen? So that was, of course, making me think, like, I don't know if I'm in the right mind to lead tonight and to be a guest speaker. And so I had kind of let Alden know that, I just kind of want to give a heads up that we might need a backup person, because I just, my mind was just all over the place and I was just stunned with the whole thing. But ultimately, then Dawn had given me some coaching of just like, um, that nothing was going to change whether I, found the information out, because I was just waiting to get more information. I wanted to be available. And, so she had kind of just coached me that even though, they would give me grace if I did choose to back out of it at the last minute, which I hate doing. I love keeping my commitments. I value it very much. So that was stressful to me. But then she just kind of helped me to see that nothing was gonna change whether I, got back to the family after the event. And, so just I ended up taking her advice, deciding to one of the things that she said, or I don't know if this exact wording, but basically hold that ground, because we both did feel like it was a demonic attack trying to take me away from this leadership opportunity. And, so so that's what I ended up doing, is just deciding I'm gonna keep the commitment. I'm gonna go ahead and lead. I'm gonna, not let the devil take this opportunity away. And maybe there were women that needed to hear what I had to share that night. And so I contacted some people from my church and I said, "Hey, can you start a prayer chain?" I really couldn't do anything but pray. And I let Dawn had advised me, let family members know that I just need to be unavailable from this time to this time, during the winning Wednesday, and that I'm going to check back after. And so that was what I did. It was something I would have not thought of on my own. Just so that coaching I was sharing with her yesterday, I was able to apply it in another area of life, because yesterday, well, by the way, my cousins, they're both alive. They're back in, I live in Michigan. They're back in Michigan now. Like, they're okay. I mean, they're pretty beat up. They've got a lot of serious injuries and they were in the hospital for about a month, but um, they are okay. They're still alive. So anyways, and yesterday morning, shortly before a staff meeting for my other job, I found out that a good friend from church, the person who's just always there, always volunteers, just real pillar of the church, died suddenly in a car accident. And so, it was devastating. And so I ended up just thinking of that lesson, because it came to mind first, like, I'm gonna clear the day, and then I was just like, no, I've got a lot of things that need to stay on track. I'm going to postpone my staff meeting by 30 minutes. I'm going to take time to process this with my family and some friends, and then I'm going to regroup and put it aside. And I'm not cold hearted. I'm still going to grieve, but I'm also going to get things done. And so then I was just, letting Dawn know that thank you for teaching me how to do that. So that was it. And I'm grateful for the life coaching. We can apply it, what we learn in Mary Kay, and we can apply it in other areas of life to be stronger and better.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, the benefits of Mary Kay are far more than booking, coaching, selling, and recruiting, for sure. And seeing women that don't live their life focused on the next tragedy or the drama, because there's a lot for all of us. And one of the things, I'm most grateful for Mary Kay is the female role models that modeled compartmentalizing. Because if God's called you to do something, He knows all the life that you're going to be confronted with from here till eternity. And so He's given you like the ability to do that, but it's our choice. God gives us free will, and that's tricky because we tend to make decisions emotionally versus from His perspective. Like you heard Jesus say real tough things, like, let the dead bury the dead. You need to follow. Like, look at the things that Jesus said that people are like to His disciples. And if we're Christ followers, we're disciples of Jesus. And Jesus, no one would say he's cold-hearted, but he was all about doing God's business, versus being distracted by the fallen world. And Amy, you say that beautifully. It's not that you're cold-hearted. It's, you had a board meeting. Those people were counting on you. I think of Mary Kay Ash doing a director's meeting, and half of her directors stood up and were following a woman who had taken our formulas to start Beauty Control, and half of Mary Kay's sales force with her that day. And Mary Kay, what did she do? They left the room. She continued the director's meeting. And if she wouldn't have, we may not all have the privilege of sitting here and sharing this product and opportunity. Does anyone have it, before I introduce CAMMY, does anyone have a quick adjustment application from Power Team? Okay, I'm gonna spotlight CAMMY, and I think can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So you guys, I want to introduce CAMMY Otten, and she's not related to me. We have both been in Mary Kay. I started in 86. So I started May of 86. She started May of 93. So I've heard her name over the years because she has been, you'll hear from her accolades, just a solid, consistent rock star with Mary Kay. But our paths crossed in the Director's Bible Study. And so every Wednesday, when you become a director, you can plug into a director's Bible study that actually started at our Livonia studio 20 years ago. The same month as I became a national, God laid it on another director's heart to call me and say, I think you're supposed to be starting a director's Bible study at our studio. And I said no. And then God, after I hung up the phone, said wrong answer. And now 20 years later, I can see why that would have been the wrong answer, because I would have missed out on missing a lot of amazing women. But also, when you have just sales directors gathering around God's word and in small groups together and applying truth, not just to your Sunday, Wednesday lives, but to your Mary Kay life and to your finances and to your family, that is what I was taught in Mary Kay. That's what God used to draw me to him. That's where I came to having a salvation experience and being Holy Spirit, baptized and led since November of 95. It was through Mary Kay people modeling that to me. And I know God first, family second, and career third. When you say God in our country, there's a lot of people that think there's lots of ways to lots of different gods, and it's all good. And that's not true. That's not what it says in the Bible at all. And so, for us, for this company to continue on, we need to make sure whether people choose to follow Mary Kay Ash's God or not, they know who he is, because this is the brand we represent. And this is our story and our legacy. And that is the guarantee. That's the anchor for our company's future. So CAMMY and I came together through that, because when a director brings 5 directors into the Director's Bible Study, I do a spiritual leadership coaching call with them. And so that's where mine and her journey began. She started Mary Kay May of 1993, pregnant and working as a CPA, so a certified public accountant. Earned her first car September of 94, moved 2 times during DIQ, debuted as a director 4 months later out of the Fortenberry area. So this woman comes from a legacy pioneering national area that has daughters, daughter-in-law, lots of influence all over the world. 17 cars, driving 5th pink Cadillac, 15 times Circle of Achievements. That means her unit has done over $300,000 in production a year for 15 times, 18 times personal quarter sales, top 20 3 times, highest ranked number 8 in Ruby in 23 last year at seminar, company Miss Go Give June of 15. She's married to her high school sweetheart Stephen for 37 years. We got married the same year then. Oh. Retired him at age 55 from his engineering career in 2020. They have 2 grown sons, 3 grandchildren. She lives in Columbus, Nebraska. Is that what NE is? Nebraska. Yep. She's a senior sales director. And so I am excited to turn this over to CAMMY Otten.
Good morning. Good morning. Guys, God is weaving your other people's lives into your life. Dawn, I am so grateful for you. And you guys, when you've got the best of the best, it's easy to take it for granted. But I'm just going to tell you, you have the best of the best of the best in this woman right here. And I'm going to ask you to not take it for granted, but instead allow her to pass the baton to you so that the baton can continue to be passed and this incredible foundation of legacy leadership, loving our company, leading right in our company, being the foundation for the next and the next and the next generations to come behind us. That is the baton that's being passed to you right now. So we have a new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. What if this year we said, let it be easy, let it be fun, let it be the start of the most amazing year of my life. Don't you love in Mary Kay? We get 2 new years, January and July 1st. And so it's our new year. And there's something that happens in us when it's a new year. Our mind opens up to think a new thought. Our heart opens up to believe bigger. And so this 8 days between now and July 31st is so important. So let's go to the Lord in prayer here before I share what I share. And this comes from a prayer that Karen Rydell had shared out of a devotional. So I just tweaked a couple things to be appropriate. So let's just, if you can, bow your heads. And Father, we just come before you and we start this day with you. Help us not be afraid of what could go wrong, but focus on what could go right. Help us focus on what matters and let go of what doesn't. Help us starve our distractions and feed our focus. What we focus on grows. What we think about expands. We receive that truth. May we know that the impossible becomes possible when we focus on you, directing us, focusing on you directing us versus focusing on our fears. Father, we claim Proverbs 4:25. Let our eyes look directly ahead and let our gaze look straight in front of us. Father, may we treat these last 8 days of July like a camera, focusing on what's important, capturing the good times, developing from the negatives. And if things don't work out like we had planned the first time, help us focus and take another shot. Amen. Oh my gosh.
Amen.
Here we are. Wow. Wow. You guys, we are in the right place at the right time. We are in the most amazing company. I'm sure you've heard over the last couple of weeks of other MLMs. We are not an MLM. We are a direct selling company. We're family owned. We're debt free. We are based on you sell the product and team build. You do it all. We are rock solid, but you're hearing these other MLMs that people yesterday had a business and today they wake up and that company made a decision based on the bottom line, not the people, the bottom line. And they're changing their marketing plan. They either don't have a company anymore to be a part of, or they could sell the product, but they can't have a team and retain the recruiting commissions, the residual income from that. And so you guys, we are in the right place at the right time with the right company, the most incredible, unmatchable opportunity in this economy, which is stressful for a lot of people. Women can step into Mary Kay today. 8 days from now, they could promote themselves to DIQ and be going to a leadership position within 1, 2, 3 months. 1, 2, 3 months. This is unprecedented. Our opportunity's always been unprecedented. It's just that when we're in it, it's easy to take it for granted. Our products are second to none. You guys, the quality of our products is incredible, 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 incredible. And so for us to be sold ourselves, I think the biggest shift I made last year was just really focusing on more women knowing about volume firm repair at all ages versus just 50 and above, right? Because that's really what Mary Kay marketed it for when they started. But you guys, there's women in their 20s and 30s that are looking for volume firm repair. and I'm seeing it transform their skin. Well, what's the change? To me, it's environmental damage. Like there's just stuff happening on our skin and they need repair. So our clinical solutions line, you guys, we're the only skincare company out there in America offering pure retinol without a prescription. Our boosters, you guys, that line is only going to get sweeter because Mary Kay is investing heavily with our scientists. So you have positioned yourself to be the most incredible beauty advisor, business advisor for women in your circle, women that God puts in your path. It is for such a time as this. Okay. So the bottom line is we have what women are looking for. We don't have to wonder. We know. Okay. So you guys are on this call. You're either a consultant moving to Red Jacket, team leader, DIQ. And so 358, or you're a director. And so here you are. It's a new year. You've set a goal. What you've learned in this 3 weeks is so important. You're going to go to seminar. You guys are right after us. We are the 2nd through the 5th. And I think you guys, your day 0 is the 5th. And so you're the 6th through that. Okay. So you guys, you have 8 days till the end of the month. And then you've got 4 or 5 days, depending on when you're flying to seminar. And so what I want you to be thinking about is wins in short blocks of time, So what's on the line between now and next Wednesday night? 8 days. Let's just think about it. God created the whole world and everything in it in 7 days, right? And so what can happen in 8 days? It's unlimited. It's totally unlimited. It's only limited by here. It's only limited by your heart. Like, what do you want? What do you want? And I want you to think about running this 8 days and your goal on July 31st, whether it's red or team leader or DIQ or director or directors, whatever your goal is, you guys, July 31st is not a finish line. You're running to get to your starting line. You're running to get to your starting line because this is going to propel you forward. Woo! This is going to propel you forward. It's going to build your momentum. And I want you to think about how you're going to go to seminar and how you're going to feel having built and brought in and accomplished what you just did for July in this whole month, but especially the momentum you've built in this last 8 days. Seminar is going to be a very different experience for you when you go there as a new red jacket, a new team leader, a new DIQ. Let's say you get to DIQ or to team leader at 5 by July 31st. You've got momentum built. You guys, if your goal is DIQ, you can have your 8 in place that next 4 or 5 days in August before you hop on the plane to go to seminar. And in your mind, you're going as a DIQ, right? You're taking everything in through that leadership filter. So many years ago, I had a gal recruit into I had a DIQ finish her directorship qualification. She recruits a gal 6 days before the end of the month. Connie was a woman on a mission. She was in her 50s. She was burned out in her career path. She wanted to work for herself. And in 6 days, she's from a tiny town in Nebraska, about 450 people. And in 6 days, she welcomed on 5 people on her team. Her team did almost 7,000 in team production. So she moved to team leader. At that point, we were earning cars, then becoming sales directors. Now Mary Kay just lets you do it all at the same time. And she just absolutely broke every belief barrier that was going on in our future area because she just didn't get bogged down in her mind. She just was sold on, this is where I'm going and I want to take other women with me. This is what's happening. I want to take other women with me. This is the most amazing company. I want other people to know about it. This is the most incredible product. Women deserve to try it and to use it. You guys, she was sold on what she was offering to people, right? She turned around right after that month end, and she invested her commission check, her 13% commission check. They didn't do bonuses back then like they do now. I mean, our marketing plan is so sweet and so juicy, and it is so rich in rewards. She invested in a plane ticket, and a week later was on a plane to go to our national sales director's fall retreat in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She had never flown. She had never traveled by herself. She had to get a plane ticket the night before because we were 7 days out. She arrived in Myrtle Beach. She had never like gotten a taxi or anything like that. She was arriving and checking into a condo with people she did not know, and she just went. And you guys, she was a record breaker. She was a record breaker because she didn't look at the obstacles. She looked at, this is my investment in who God's calling me to be in building this business and as a leader, and what I'm going to be equipped to give and pass on to other people. So you guys, how big will you let yourself think? How big will you let yourself think? And on this goal that you set, are you interested in being a red jacket, a team leader, a DIQ, a director? Are you interested? Or are you all in, all out committed? Are you all in, all out committed? Because there's something big that happens in that commitment decision, something very big. So whatever it is that it takes for you to get from where you are right now to the July 31st goal, you guys, it's just a number. It's a number of faces. It's a number of shares. One domino tips into another, tips into another, tips into another in Mary Kay. Everything works. Everything works. So whatever you're running after, ever, forever and ever, amen, in Mary Kay, it's just a number. That number is not big or small. It's just a number. It's a number of faces. It's a number of parties. It's a number of shares. It's a number of new team members. It's an income that you have set that you're making because this is what you want to do with it, or your family needs it, or you've got a goal for ABCD, right? It's not big or small. It's just a number. You break it down. You break it down. Okay. So you guys, right before the end of June, I was already praying about my July goal. And I was just really surrendering to the Lord and going, Lord, what is it? What have you set ahead for the year ahead, right? I was really in that mindset a week before we started the year. And he made it very clear. And it was ridiculously big. And so you guys ever argue with the Lord when he lays a big goal on your heart? It's like, okay. And then I'm like, really? Really? And if we're arguing, it's because we're trying to figure out, how can I do this in and of my own self, with my ability, with the time I have, with the skill I have, me. That's not the formula. When God gives you the big goal, the big, like, here's what I have next for you. It's not this. It's like, it's the partnership, right? I'm just the vessel he's working through. So I wrestled and then I surrendered to it. Makes me cry. Guys, it's so beyond anything I could ever do in and of my own. But that's where God needs us. He needs us to surrender to the big. And your big might be a step to here, or it might be a step to here. He knows how far he can take you, right? This is a faith journey. He's like, I don't want to overwhelm them. I want to show them how amazing I made them. I want to show them what I created them to do, the impact I wanted them to have, the light in the dark world I wanted them to be in this world. You guys, God needs you. He needs me. Our company needs you. They need me. We are the voice. We are the light. He wants you to live your life from a place of purposeful passion, faith-filled belief. And so it's this battle that happens right here, right? So I surrendered. After I surrendered that first 4 days, it was actually the night of July 4th. And I realized God had laid this big, huge, giganto goal on my heart a few years ago. And I was unwilling to say yes, because I was still trying to figure out how I would do it. So my faith has grown in so many ways, so much thanks to Dawn. And God is so faithful. He does not change the goal, you guys. It's Romans, 11:29, I think, for his gifts and his calling are irrevocable. Does not matter what he created and made us to do. He doesn't change it. He doesn't change it based on our circumstances, based on our age, based on the time that we have going on. He doesn't change it. And so I set the goal for 100 faces and 10 personal recruits in July. You guys, I think it was the longest July 4th weekend there ever was. It was like 4.5 days long. I had a short 3-day trip plan. And when you're shifting gears and you're moving, it takes a little bit to get some traction and get some momentum going. And so I had to have a meeting with myself and my goal yesterday and go, okay, what's the deal? And I got clarity. I repositioned, I reset, and I'm like, now it's 80 faces in 8 days. Now that I set the goal, I can do it. I can break it down. The ideas started to flow. The creative juices started to flow. When the commitment is there and your mind is set, it will start to flow. There is power in a committed decision. There is no power when we are double-minded, right? And it's in James, and he said, being double-minded is like being a ship on the ocean where you just get tossed from here to here to here, right? There's actually a term for that, a psychiatric term, or psychiatrists call it ambivalence, right? Where your brain is trying to live in two places. I'm going to, but I don't think I can, all at the same time. It doesn't work, you guys. You can't be in a creative state. You can't be in your best. You can't be at peace here and passion oozing out of you in that, right? So, Dawn, do I have like 3 more minutes with this group? Okay. All right. So I would tell you my DIQ story, but I don't have time because I got too much other stuff I want to share. But you guys, I moved twice. I remember the day and the place where I was in that bargaining with myself spot. And I could take you back to the car I was driving. I had earned my Mary Kay car. It wasn't here yet. I can take you back to the family van I was in. I could take you to the spot in the road where I realized what I was going to lose if I didn't stay committed. And I recommitted, and where God came and worked and the people he connected me to, only God, only by the grace and hand of God could it have happened. So your decision is so important. So I just kept focusing on, I know it's coming together. And I said, to God be the glory for my Mary Kay story. Lord, I don't know where it's coming from, but I know that you do. I know that you do. And so you guys, your decision is so important. I'm going to share with Dawn an article that was written by Bob Proctor, a leading worldwide coach and business developer, but it's on the power of decision. And it's once decisions are made, you guys, everything starts to flow. But what Bob says, the truth is not always in the appearance of things. You guys, you cannot see right now. Your victory is probably at the end of the block and around the corner, and you're trying to look at it from here and on the horizon. You don't know. It's closer than you think it is, but it's a decision. So he says, decide right where you are with whatever you got. This is precisely why most people never master this important impact and this important aspect of life. They permit their resources to dictate if and when a decision will or can be made. It is not about what you have at your disposal in your fingertips right now, but it is about what you choose to do. But once you make the decision, you will find all the people, all the resources, and the ideas that you need every time. You guys, circumstances are the stealer of more dreams than anything else. Stop letting your circumstances dictate. Start working from a place of victory. Let your vision guide you. Take Isaiah 43:19. This was the verse we stood on when we made the scary decision to retire my husband from his amazing career path 4 years ago. And it's Isaiah 43:19. And as I was wrestling with that decision, we knew it was right. As I wrestled with my decision one day at my desk, God laid this on my heart. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. You guys, God's way is beyond what we can understand. A weak vision leads to weak action. A strong, committed, excited decision and vision leads to the right action. Your committed decision is going to move you into action. It's not the other way around. Focus on who you're going to be when you cross the July 1st finish line, which is your starting line. And then you operate out of that confidence, that belief, that passion, that excitement. You operate from that place. You operate from that confidence, you are in a place right now, ladies, you are creating your own future. You are creating your own economy. There is no limits. So you're playing to win versus playing to not lose. Who you become in this process is the priceless gift. How you see God walk it out in your life, and the faith and the way it grows is the priceless gift. But it is time to be all in and blitz. Ideas, once that commitment's there, the ideas will flow. So you write it out. I am, what are you? What are you accomplishing by July 31st? And it feels, how does it feel? How does it feel? And that's how you operate, and you shift back into that energy all day long, because it's your time, and the rest of your life, you're going to remember this 8-day window and what it changed and what it shifted for you and where you are today, because you made a decision to throw your heart over the bar. When it's done in your mind, it's done in your life. I can't wait to hear about the Reds, the team leaders, the DIQs that are going to come by July 31st.
Cammie, thank you for getting up at 4 a.m. to be here with us. Thank you for the message you delivered. Maybe you were just here for me, because I could sit here and just sob. So many confirmations. When you asked me 3 weeks ago if there's anything I can ever do for you, and you know that we started off with other Wednesday mornings and we got to this one because of your schedule. And
Right.
so it's always God's perfect timing, always his perfect timing. So thank you. Power of decision. I look forward to, I'll get that and give it to everyone. I'll get Cammie's address so you can share with her. Write down right now in your notes so that you can write her a note. She doesn't care if it comes on scrap paper. So while it's fresh, what did she bring to you? How did God speak through her? Because that's good. I mean, when you're delivering a message, you always need confirmation that you were hearing from him accurately. The undistractable, being undistractable, unoffendable, I added, and zero ambivalence. Wow. I mean, you've given us amazing training materials. And so we're going out there and we are going to train with this versus try. So you guys, consultants, yay. I look forward to you guys packing next Tuesday night. I look forward to congratulating you on the finish lines you choose to run through. And now it's work time. Now it's time to work. So directors get to stay on a little bit longer with Cammie. Everyone else is exiting and heading into using, take a couple minutes to digest, reflect, and then go out there and make it happen with the mindset that she just shared. So thank you, guys. I will look forward to this conversation in our Voxer group. And directors, we'll take 1 minute. I'm going to switch this off and we'll be back together with Cammie.